Hi, Lexies. Welcome back to the Luxury Live Show. Of course, beside me, my beautiful co-host, Kat L. It's a little early for you guys in Singapore, so I appreciate you guys coming on. And if you're watching post live, that's great too. So today we have a very special guest. We finally got Lou on our channels to come to the Luxury Live Show. So let me get her in as soon as possible. Hi, babe.
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. I know we've been talking for a while, and then we were already talking about having you on. I think even last year. I think last year we even
Yeah, and
kind
at
of
the
told
end, I think.
the members that the Luxies that you were going to be available, but then you were so busy, you were finishing school. So I'm glad that you're here now.
Yes. Also, the time zone was very complicated to just
Yeah, the
make
time
it work
zone. Yes, yes,
with all
yes.
of us, but we're here.
Yeah, we're
Awesome.
here.
So, Lou, I'm just going to do some housekeeping. So, those of you who are new to the live stream, welcome. This is a weekly live stream that both Kat and I do uh, every Friday here in North America, Saturday in Asia. And we alternate between our channels. And we usually come up with a luxury topic. And we also take questions from the floor, from the live chat. And we kind of do this interactive live stream. Once in a while, we have a guest like today. So because Lu is our first time guest here, we'll do kind of more like an interview style. We'll get to know her a little bit. We'll chit chat about handbags. And then of course, if you have any questions, type question marks in front. So let me just demonstrate that. So type question marks and then your question like that. And then that way we can see the comments more. Because there's going to be a lot of chit chatters and like sometimes they're not really questions or comments. So that way with the actual question marks in front, we can kind of spot them between Kat and I. And then, yeah, we'll go from there. And so Lou, I'm sure a lot of people know you already, but we'll start off with this question maybe. Tell us a little bit about yourself, like who you are, what do you study, your hobbies, your passion, things like that.
So my name is Lu. I am 25 years old, and I am Mexican, Spanish, and German. But I was born and raised in Mexico, and I really love it here. My hobbies are sailing, going to the beach, reading, of course, handbags. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't because of the handbags. I really love traveling, and I'm on my second different degree because I started college and then I jumped the ship midway because I didn't like it. I took a year to work and then I started over, and I'm studying. Well, I just finished a couple of months ago, and I studied international touristic business management. So it's basically to develop and manage hotels, maybe restaurants and stuff like that, because I really would like at some point of my life to own a hotel, like in Love Rosie, the movie.
Wow.
Wow, that is amazing. Okay, we definitely didn't know all of that about you.
Yeah, I don't really think about that a lot.
I'd love to visit your hotel. When you do, please invite us.
Yeah, I'll probably blog about it if I ever do it, but I think it's like long term, not really something that I see in the near future.
Do you already have a concept of your hotel?
Yes, I do. I would love it to be quite small, like 10 rooms, beachfront with a very small restaurant. And yeah, something really small. I don't want anything super big, because I want to be very specific with the rooms and what do we offer on the restaurant and activities and stuff like that.
Oh, it's so quaint and so like just for you, like a little, people say cottage, but yours is like a hotel.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's going to be really, really small, nothing too big.
That is so cool. I don't know. Do I have friends? I have friends. Well, they're actually not even my friends. They're my husband's kind of relatives slash friends. They're related somehow. Only maybe a couple of people that we know that work in the hotel industry, and I honestly don't really know what they do. I just know they work in a hotel. But they have a lot of perks, like, when they travel, they have discounts,
Yeah.
and then sometimes they can get friends and family discounts at certain hotel chains, and it sounds like a lot of fun, but also quite stressful. I think some of them are, they haven't talked about it per se, but like, um, especially in the tourism industry, because of the pandemic, it's been really bad, and a lot of people
Yeah,
had to be.
definitely the pandemic was really bad for the tourism anywhere, honestly. So yeah, I that's why I think about it long term, to research a little bit more. And before that, I plan to do like smaller things here and there. So yeah, I hope that one day happens.
Really ambitious. Like I'm thinking when I was 25, I definitely didn't think of owning a hotel.
I've always been really, really strong-minded with exactly what I want to do. I thought that I was going to be a marine biologist. That didn't happen. But I always kind of knew that I wanted something related near to the beach and the ocean. So kind of goes in hand.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I love that you do a lot of water related, beach stuff related stuff, because that's one of my dreams. Although I live in Canada, so it's almost impossible in a sense. Well, not impossible, but it's harder, I suppose, because it's so cold most of the year.
Yeah.
But my dream is to retire in Hawaii so that I can go to the beach every day.
All right, let's ask something on handbags. Okay, why don't I take this one? So
Sure.
you were saying that you don't have a lot of your handbags, so maybe you can tell us or show us if you have it your oldest and maybe if you got your newest handbag, and how did you get into luxury?
I don't have them here because I'm in the process of moving. So half of my handbag collection is at my boyfriend's parents' house. And I only have a couple of here. I'm going to show, like, I only have like empty boxes and some things. I mainly have here like 3 Hermes bags and a couple down here. But my first luxury bag ever was the Palm Springs PM from VUITTON.
Oh
And
yeah.
I tried to get the mini, but it was impossible. Like I got to the store and they were like, "No, there's no way." 6 month waiting list, and yeah, I didn't even know that was possible. I didn't even know that there was a reselling place that handbags had so much value, that there was like a community. So for me, it was quite shocking to think like, oh, people actually buy these expensive bags like this much, that they are out of stock. Like I couldn't comprehend that. And I ended up selling it because of the straps. They were like too bulky, and I'm very, very small person. I'm 5'1". So it was just not a very practical bag, and I still wanted the mini. So I sold it, and my most recent bag is my Lady Dior that I have right here. And
Yes, the white one.
yes,
Beautiful.
I'm a little scared of using it because I saw this picture of a girl who had color transfer on her white lambskin bag. And even though I already have another white bag and I'm not scared of it, somehow I got a little bit of like the chills of that happening to me. And because it's ultra matte, but I'm working on it. I'm using it a lot, but I'm super careful.
Actually, let me ask you, how come you went with white? And what made you decide to go with the Lady Dior before you tell us how you got into luxury and handbags, etc.?
I love white bags. I've always
Yeah, me
loved white.
too.
General. I first started with my Bobby bag. I got it in white. Really loved it. Then I went for the Oreo 19 bag. It's a white tweed, which that bag I'm really careful with because honestly, tweed is very hard to take care of, and especially such a light one. Then I went with my white classic flap, and now I have this one. So it's my fifth white bag. So I feel like I'm a
Wow.
little, but I really enjoy using them, especially for summer, because with dresses they look very, very pretty and they
Yeah.
stand out. And the Lady Dior, I've always liked it. I'm a fan of Lady D and the crown and that stuff, and I've always loved Dior so much. So I always knew that I wanted one, but I never found one that I specifically liked so much that I needed to get until I saw a yellow one, but the yellow one was nowhere to be found. And the idea of getting a Lady Dior got stuck in my head so bad that when I saw that Season to Consign had this one, I had to get it because it was white, mini, it was really pretty. And probably later on, I'm gonna need the yellow one too.
So do you enjoy using the Lady Dior?
Yes, I do. It's very, very comfortable because you can just put your phone and that's it.
You have the, is that the medium size or is that the small size with the
let me
thicker strap?
I have Masha's toys here, so I need to. I hope that she doesn't jump on the live because she's laying around here. But she does.
That's okay.
This is the bag.
Oh, it's a mini, right?
It's
Yeah,
a
it's the
mini.
mini. But the phone does fit. Like I always do this. It's super practical.
Oh, okay. So it sticks out, right? Yeah.
It's like if you need to like open the handles, you just do this, and that's it.
Right.
So, yeah, it's a very comfortable bag.
That's
well,
making me need a. It's making me want one now.
It's a very good bag. I'm obsessed. Like I'm gonna maybe take a break from Classic Flaps and go a little bit more into Dior, because it's cheaper and easier to get.
Yeah, apparently there's going to be a price increase if it hasn't already happened.
Yeah, for sure.
At Dior. Well, there's one that's rumored for Chanel now. Dior.
Dior, yep.
Yeah, Dior Chanel, I think. I haven't heard about the other brands so far, but those two I know. It's like on
I know
Instagram.
that the
You
Dior
see
one
it.
has quite soon because everyone's talking about it. And honestly, I was hoping that it wouldn't be like until the summer ended, but who knows? I think that they might do it like July, probably.
It's very possible because I bought my mini Lady Dior and I only have one, and it's the opaline gray one. I bought it, I think already 2 years ago on my birth. It was like the day before my birthday, and the next week, was it the next few days or the next week? No, let me think. I can't remember what my essay said. He texted me and he said, Amy, I know you love this bag. You've been talking about it forever. So if you want to get this bag, you should get it this week because we're having a price increase. And I can't remember if it was the following week, but because there was something, because I think everyone was trying to go and they were literally selling out. There was no stock. So I had to run there. And they actually just sold it before I arrived. They just sold the color that I wanted. And so I still paid for it. And I tried another one in a different color. I still paid for it. They were going to get it transferred from Montreal. And I still got it at the old price. But oh my gosh, it was crazy. Yeah, it was July too. Last time, the price increase. 2 years ago anyway.
Summer or winter. But yeah, they always do price increases during the summer. I'm pretty sure that Chanel will too.
That's it. I don't want to know any more about price increases anymore. That's it. We don't hear any more price increases. Just do it. Don't let us know. Just do it. Okay. It's too stressful.
Just buy it when you want the bag, okay?
Yeah, whatever.
And also when you need it, I suppose. So Lou, how did you get started into this whole? You said your first bag was the Palm Springs. So how did you get started in this whole luxury world?
I kind of always liked it, but I never really thought about owning any bag. Since I was very, very young, my grandma, for example, she would really like bags. But I was the type of girl that was like, no, I only do sports. I only sail, I only surf, and all of my money, all of my savings, all of that was towards new gear for my sailboat or something to wear or a competition or something like that. So I never even got to consider to own anything. But it come to a point where I decided to quit because I was not getting anywhere and I wanted to travel and I wanted to work. So in that period of time where I didn't have absolutely anything to focus on that was not the sport that I've been 10, 15 years of my life focusing on, I started to search online and then I found Pinterest and I started to browse hours and hours on Pinterest and I saw this picture of this girl with a Palm Springs mini. And then I started to make like, let's make a board, like a Louis Vuitton bag board. And I started to add multiple bags and I was obsessed with the Palm Springs mini. So I had a really good job because I was a babysitter and I was also teaching English classes in Spain and in France to little kids. So I was making like really good money. And at some point I tell my dad like, hey, I have this much saved. Do you think that you can lend me some money so I can buy this bag? And he was like, oh yeah, for sure. And he let me have like the rest. I was missing like 300 euros or something like that. And I ran to the store and they told me that they didn't have it and that I was not going to get it. So that was a really sad day because I ended up giving the money back to my dad, and he told me that he would like do it again when I found it. I ended up waiting a little bit and I got the PM, but didn't work out. And because it didn't work out, I looked for ways to sell it. And that's how I came across the Facebook groups. And I sold the bag through the Facebook groups. And then I realized that there was a whole Instagram community, that there were people making videos on YouTube about it. And that's how I got hooked in, basically trying to sell the bag that I didn't work for.
Wow, you're so interesting because you know how most people, I guess I don't know if it's most people, but like I think for Kat and I, we definitely didn't do it that way.
No, definitely
Yeah,
not.
I think
that way
for
at all.
myself. Yeah, because I think for myself it's more obviously we are a lot older than you. By the way, guys, Lou is very young. We're both 40 years old already, so you're talking to aunties here.
I'm trying to look at Lou and I'm like, oh, I have eye bags.
Just perfect skin.
I have pimples all the time. I still have acne, which I hated.
Oh, we all did too.
We all
at
do,
one
but it's just
point.
your 15 years.
Actually, my skin has always been kind of okay, but I actually get more acne now. Like it's always around here and then around here. It's very annoying.
I think that you get them no matter the age, probably.
Yeah,
no matter the age.
hormonal usually. Yeah. But yeah, I think for us, because when we grew up, there was no internet. I mean,
Mhm.
there was internet when I went to my last years of high school. There was internet, but most people couldn't afford it because it was too new and very expensive to buy a computer. So only really when I went to college and university, the internet is a bit more like mainstream. More people actually get it for their home. It was dial-up at the beginning, right? It's
Dial-up, yes.
Get modem, like, you know, like the dial-up sound.
I always had to plug it from the
very
phone.
slow. We had no cell phones either. I think I got my first cell phone definitely in college. Yeah, definitely in college. And it was very expensive and it was very hard to buy a small size, you know, one of those newest small size phones back then. You had to kind of get it in Asia because they had the faster technology.
Yeah.
Whereas here in Canada, in the Western world, it's like kind of always slower in a sense. But anyway, I'm glad that we are in this digital age now where we can actually not only chat and write emails very easily, but video conferencing and live streams like this is so much easier, honestly.
Yeah, with COVID, it was amazing. Well, at least for me, it was easier because I finished my degree online and I was also working remotely. So I could focus also on filming, editing, and doing my own like YouTube stuff while I was doing like the rest of it. Because if not, I would have to like run to university, then run to the office, and then come back super tired, and I would never be able to get anything done.
Yeah, that's what we had to do. We always had to be running around, catching the bus, lugging our books. You had to go to the office to teach. You had a question. Like, oh my gosh, it was such a crazy different time.
But I think we got into it not from, obviously yours is really different, right? Because yours is through Pinterest. But for me, I mean, and Amy, I think it was more magazines, like
magazines, yeah,
magazines, TV, probably the parents, but definitely magazines, right? You'll see things in magazines, and for the longest time, I think that's the only way. There's no internet. I mean, there is internet, but nothing like YouTube. There's
Nobody
no
has
such
internet at home.
nothing, no Pinterest, nothing. And that's how we got into it. So whereas your experience on, you know, your first bag, you didn't enjoy, I mean, it didn't work out for you, and then you sold it. for us, it was never like it was never even like possible,
Yeah.
because the resellers today, I mean, and these Facebook groups are available already, but then it was like, oh, it doesn't work. We'll still use it.
Yeah.
Find
You
a
just
way.
keep it until whenever.
Yeah, so different, but that's really interesting. Oh my gosh, you brought me back to my memory of what my phone was for. It was like,
Yeah.
I think I had my phone, my Nokia, and the best thing on it was the colored screen. Like, oh my gosh, it turns blue. And I could play Snake. I was like,
Oh, I did have those phones where you had to play Snake, and they were like really, really, really small. I had one that was like this size, black and white, and you had to type on the keyboard. Like it was not touch.
Yeah.
I think that was
Actually, no, you
really-
have to like press 3 times to get to the third letter on
Yes,
that number.
That was very annoying.
why would you have that phone? That is really like,
I was born in 1996. We still had those phones. I didn't even have CDs. Like I also had like the big ass computers in school. Walkman. I did have kind of that
for
experience.
a while. I think right at the, you got it at the end.
Yeah, I got all
She
the
got it
change.
at her when she was younger. Like I think because you know how even schools they had a computer, right? Like, but
that's
it's just
true.
that for people at home, like us, when we were at home, we don't have that. I think
Oh, I
maybe when Lou was in school, maybe it was starting to, because remember once the first cell phones and the first computers was
Yes.
around, I felt like it advanced really quickly. Every
Yeah, that's
year
true.
it was like,
Yeah.
and then look at today, and it's not even, if you think about it, it's kind of a long time ago, but it's not really that long ago if you think
True,
about it
true.
and how
Actually, it's
fast
not that,
technology has advanced.
change is having crazy. Like I remember when the first iPhone launched, and we're like, "There's a touch iPhone. Like you touch on it, you don't really need to click on anything." And when we had like wireless internet like on your phone, I couldn't believe that you could like watch something on the street without having to be in your house. Like that was crazy for me.
I have to pull this comment from Joe. I have to wait before I pull it, but Lou, I know that have you ever used the fax machine before?
Yes, I have.
Oh, okay. Joe, I'm
I
sorry.
was people with the fax in my house.
No, or the pager. Did you have to use a pager?
Pager,
Okay,
not.
we had
we
pagers
win
before
one.
phones.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. That's just so funny. It's fun. It's fun because it is a huge difference. Like both Amy and I were 40 and you're 25, but I mean, it's a huge gap, right? Because there are a lot of things that are, and because in this 15 years, truly, it is so many things has changed. Like it's things that I used to use when I first started teaching my gym classes. People don't even see it anymore. It's like just in the span of 10 years, they're like, what? You use like a tape for classes? I said, yeah, I use the tape for classes.
Yeah,
But no, someone
Mm.
VCD tape like that. Oh, anyway.
VHS.
Okay, back to luxury.
Yeah, back to luxury. Okay.
Let me ask this one then.
We always kind of end up talking about old times for some reason.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. Okay, when did you get started on Hermès or maybe Chanel? Which one would you want to go for? Which one? Because you started with the Palm Springs.
Yeah, Chanel was always like the end game for me, but it was a really long time for me to save for my first classic flap. And just to think about that, back then it was like 4,000 euros, and now it's reaching the 10,000s. That's quite crazy, but I always wanted one, so I saved for a really long time. After I left Barcelona in Spain, I kept working on marketing and digital marketing and social media, and I just started like getting a better paycheck and a better paycheck. And every time I was like, okay, this is for my classic flap, this is for my classic flap. And I was very lucky that back then it was not that expensive. And for my first classic flap, my dad did help me to buy it. But I did end up paying back because I don't know, I just really felt bad about it because it was just like a bag for me. And honestly, saving for it was very exciting. I think it's what really caught me into really what it is collecting bags, because all the process of buying a bag, it's as exciting as getting it and starting to use it, because you start researching and watching videos about it and saving for it and all the things that you do, and to the point where you go to the store and actually go try to buy it. Like all of it really like made it for me very exciting. So yeah, I kind of enjoy saving for the bags. Like that's kind of funny, but I kind of do. And I got the first classic flap, and the experience was also not that good because the bag ended up being defective, and I had a really really bad experience at the store. The bottom of the bag, it had like this crook, so it was like, I don't know how to explain it in English, but it was not folding correctly, and you could see the bump on the bottom. So I take it to the store, and they said that yeah, the bag was defective, but I needed to send it to Paris. So I leave it at the Madrid store. They send it to Paris, and 3 months later, they're like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna give you a new bag. Here's the credit." But a price increase happened in the meantime, so they wanted me to pay the difference from the price increase. And back then I didn't knew better, like I didn't know better. I had no idea how things really worked, so I was just like, oh, okay. So I did have the money, so I go and they tell me, oh, but we don't have any black medium classic flaps. We only have jumbos in these colors, and they had like a yellow, a red, a blue, and a light beige. So they didn't have the bag that I wanted, and they told me that I couldn't leave the store without a bag that day. So I had to pay 1,000 euros for a red jumbo that I didn't even initially wanted. So yeah, and I had to start from zero again, saving for a medium classic flop later on. But yeah, that's how I got into Chanel.
That is really unfortunate, but did you manage to sell it? You don't have it anymore.
Yes, I sold it, but I sold it after I bought my Birkin because I wanted to get the money back. I sold my red jumbo and a boy bag after I bought this one because it felt like really, I felt really really bad the day that I spent like the 10,000 on that bag. Like I was feeling so sick that day. So selling those other 2 bags really made me feel better. Now I don't
Mhm.
feel that bad when I spend the money, but like that first time it was really really scary.
True. We all go through that. That limit price. You go like, oh, I feel
Yeah.
sick.
Yeah. I think for me, every bag felt sick for me. I kind of just work my threshold up from the very bottom. But let me ask you, so how did you get into like how did you even decide that, oh okay, I'm gonna start building or getting my first Hermes bag? How?
I
Like
didn't.
what were you thinking?
I think that I didn't make the decision, but my essay made the decision for me. I've gone to that store a couple of times before because it's not where I live here. It's in the city where Polo's family lives. So I went to that store a couple of times before to go with my mother-in-law because she wanted to buy a belt for a Christmas present for Polo's dad, or maybe a tie or some stuff for the house. But I never bought anything. And one day I went to look for a blanket because I wanted one for this house. And I also wanted a belt. And I did buy the belt and I didn't buy the blanket. And the essay, he was really nice. It was the first time that I really like properly introduced myself to him. He asked me for my wish list, and I was like, I'm just gonna shoot my shot, and I would love Birkin 25 and a mini Kelly. And he was like, oh, which colors? And I was like, oh yeah, black and gold, because I honestly thought that he was just gonna laugh it off and never call me back. So I tell him my wish list and I leave the city. And this was around October. And then in December, I'm back in the city, and I was in the mall because I went to pick up some things that I ordered from Chanel. And the SA messaged me asking me, hey, I remember that you told me that you were going to come back for Christmas break. Are you in town? And I was like, I'm actually at the mall. And he tells me, oh, can you please come to the store because I have something for you? And I was like, no, wait. Like, I was speechless because I couldn't believe it. And I knew that he probably had a bag, but I thought that he was going to have like something similar or another color. And my boyfriend was with me and he was like, let's go and see. So we go, and he takes me like to the back of the store, and then he pulls out two bags. He pulls the gold Birkin and the black Birkin, and he told me like, you can choose whichever you like from both of this. And I sat down for like 40 minutes trying to think about it. First, I needed to make the decision if I was willing to spend the money. So I told him that if he could give me like an hour or so, that I could go grab a coffee, sit down, and think about it. And that's what I did. He was really nice to hold them for me, because I know that many essays would be like, oh no, I'm gonna sell them to someone else. So I sat down and I talked to Polo, because we've been together for a really long time, and 10K is a lot of money. And I did have the savings. So we did think about, okay, what's the worst that can happen? We can resell the bag, right? And make the money back. And I was like, yeah. And I thought, like, what if I sell 10K off my bags just to make it back? He was like, okay, yeah, that works. Do you think that you can sell them? And I was like, yeah. I made the decision which two bags I was going to sell. And then I just went back to the store and I bought it. But after that, when I saw the money like go down from my bank account, I didn't feel good at all. So I left the bag inside the box for a really long time. So I think it was like a full month until I was able to really process the fact that it happened and that I had a bag. I also felt very guilty, because I know that many people go through a very long process to be offered the bag. And I couldn't even understand that he offered me 25. I've been offered Birkins before, but they were like 35s and bright pink, because my store is always empty, but never really something that I wanted. So it was quite crazy.
Wow.
That's incredible.
That's a great
Yeah.
story. But
Do
I
you think-
totally can appreciate that feeling of sick. Because when I got my Birkin, I felt sick.
No, you feel so, when you're pressing the numbers to pay with the card, you're like, and then it didn't go through, because of course it's a very large amount of money. So you need to call the bank to say like, hey,
Bank
yeah,
it
no,
out.
it's me. I'm actually spending the money. So I was like second guessing with the call, but I went with it. But yeah, I felt crazy that day.
You think it's like divine intervention. You're like, maybe I shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah.
So Lou, do you think that it was so I guess for your situation, you kind of came across the thought of even owning or thinking about owning a Birkin or Kelly just almost a bit randomly, because you were with your mother-in-law and your boyfriend or
Yeah.
husband.
Boyfriend.
Do you
But
think that
I
it
didn't-
helped that they were there with you? I know everyone's experience is very different. Like I started my journey last year, and I made a decision for myself, because I know everyone's different. I have friends that will refuse to go with their husbands. They want to only go alone. And I have friends that like to go with friends so that they can kind of feed off of each other when they're shopping. I made a decision for myself to go with my husband, because I thought, depending on the essay too, but I thought that, there's a lot of sort of silent time when you're working with an essay, and they're sometimes waiting on you to try things. And those idle time, I feel a bit uncomfortable when there's no chatter. So I felt like my husband was going to be that person. He's going to be that chatter person, even though he doesn't really, he hasn't bought anything, honestly. If anything, I bought him a few things. But do you think it helped for you to go with your mother-in-law? And do you actually go with them now? Whenever you visit, do you go with them, or do you go with
usually never shop alone. I don't like doing it, because I really do have social anxiety. I think that people think that I'm saying because I say it, but no, I really do. I have really bad anxiety, and I just hate being alone in social situations usually. So I tend to either wait till someone can go with me, or just go with Polo. He's my boyfriend and super supportive. So I usually go with him to make exactly chit chat. And I also need like reassurance, like, I'm going to buy this. Do you actually like it? And he's like, no, don't buy that. Or yeah, do it. And I don't think that I would have been able to actually go through with the purchase if he didn't like support the decision in that moment, because I felt crazy for wanting to spend that amount of money. And as for the essay decision, I don't know. because that day Polo's mom actually waited outside the store, and Polo went with me, but he was quite silent during the entire
Mm.
day. And the essay, he's very, very chatty. He was always very like joyful, and we would chat about, have you seen this new color that we're going to release in this bag, or do you like this color in the bag better in Epsom or in Togo? And I'm like, no, I like it more in Epsom because it's a little bit more bright. And I don't know, I just think that we connected as
Yeah.
people very, very good. And I think that he really liked the fact that I was so crazy about the brand and the colors and new releases and things like that. And I think that I was very blunt with my wish list. So I don't know what he really thought about it. And he kept offering me bags until he left. He recently left, and that was really, really sad. I mean, it's okay because I'm going to move away anyway. But he left, and with the other new essay, I just don't have like that connection like with him. But he did offer me 3 different bags. So he did a lifetime for me. I don't think,
Yeah.
if I don't get offered anything else, I'm fine, honestly.
Amazing.
Oh, no, that's a nice essay. That's wonderful. So
Yeah.
you got really lucky there, actually.
I'm going to pull another comment. So I'm at the bottom, Amy. So
Okay.
I think this is a question. Let me see. Which is kind of similar, right? So Lou, you've been so lucky with your bags from KM. Since you are moving, do you think you will play the Hermès game down the road to get bags? Well, Lou didn't play any game. She's been really lucky.
But would I play it at some point? Honestly, I don't. I don't like seeing it as playing a game or anything. Like, I will of course want pillows. I will of course want blankets. Maybe I like some kitchenware. Maybe I like some SLGs and any other bags, like another Picatinny or something like that. But as just buying things to build like a history, no, I would not do that. I would only buy things that I specifically want and have on my wish list. And as I said, if I don't get offered another bag, I'm fine with that, honestly. Right now on my wish list, I would love a mini Kelly and a Kelly Pochette, but a Birkin 35, I can buy it pre-loved and vintage, like my vintage Kelly. I adore the bag. So there's other options, and I don't I don't like the idea of playing the game. I just, if I like something, I'm gonna buy it, and if I don't, I will not. But it's really scary because I went to the Barcelona boutique once, and the essay was not very nice. So yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be tricky.
Mm. Actually, this is a good question for you because you talked about it just now. It's from Sarah. Love your box, Kelly. Would you recommend this as a daily use leather or better for occasional use? I
Oh,
so love it, but
I
not
have
sure
it
if
here.
I should add it as a daily bag.
I think I have it here. So this is my box,
Wow.
and the bag is
Oh.
26 years old. So I honestly, this is my most used Hermes bag from this year, probably with my Kelly to go. So I would say that it's a bag for daily use for sure. I'm not scared of using it because something that I wanted to do is, when I was looking for this one, I didn't want it to be like in such good condition because it's box leather, and I knew that if it didn't already have its scratches, I was gonna be really scared. So it's already quite. You're not gonna be able to see it, but it
You know
does
what? I'm
have a
gonna
lot.
enlarge you. I'm gonna make you bigger so you can see
Okay.
there.
So here's one scratch, and the handle has a ton of them. You can see it has a lot of wear and tear, and that was also really good for the price point of the bag. So right now, I just don't feel as scared of using it, and I use it every single day. Well, not on settings that I think that it would be too flashy to wear a Kelly, but I would recommend this bag as a daily bag and not really a special occasion, because I just feel like it's quite sturdy. And if it's vintage, there's not really much that you can do to it that hasn't already been done. So
That's a
Actually, I
really
have a
good
question for
idea.
you. I think your feedback was really it makes sense. But what if your box bag was actually new from the store? Like it wasn't a vintage one.
I think I've come to the piece. I don't know. I used to only buy caviar. I used to don't really want to buy bags with vachetta because I would watch YouTube videos and everyone was like, no, no lambskin. You shouldn't get lambskin because it's gonna get scratched and dents and stuff like that. And no vachetta because water drops. And from a moment to till now, I've started buying only lambskin mainly. If I don't find the bag in lambskin, then okay, I'm gonna get it in caviar. But I'm always trying to go only for lambskin. And I think that for Hermes, if I could and if I was offered a box leather Birkin and an Epsom Birkin, I would probably go for box because I really like the way that the leather looks. And at the end of the day, I also do sports. I'm always falling, scratching. I just broke my finger a couple of weeks ago. If you allow yourself to get scratched and injured, why are we so scared with the bags? I just don't get why are we so scared with the bags? Like, it's gonna be fine. If it has a scratch, the bag is not ruined. And I used to think that if it had something, even if it was on the bag was not perfect anymore and there was something wrong. And not anymore because I'm okay because I did it, like, and it happens, you know? So I've lost that fear and I would use a brand new box bag every single day. But it's been a process for me to stop fearing the bags that much. But I try to not.
I think that is a great way to look at it because I feel like I don't know for Sarah, but you have to accept the fact that your bag is not going to be perfect. If you can't, then box is still probably not for you. So for you, Lou, you're okay with your bags having blemishes because for you is if it happened, it happened. But you made that happen, but at least you used your bag. Okay,
Probably
I'm
the
gonna bring in.
Lou's more brave to have 5
Yes, very.
white bags and a box bag and lambskin bags. It's really good advice, and I think you're really mature to think like this because it's that fear of damaging the bag and losing its value. I think that's one of the main, I guess, accepted advices that are going around that, if you damage the bag, you'll lose its value. But I guess it depends on what you want to do with the bag. And we kind of lose track of keeping bags because they're supposed to be in your collection for a long time. That's why you buy them in the first place, right? So yeah, don't be afraid of your bags. I got to listen to that also.
No, I totally agree with Lou's point of view, but I also just know, like, I have many friends that they cannot accept a defect. They just suddenly, if there's a not defect, wear and tear, like if there is this huge scuff, right? They suddenly don't love the item as much. That's just how their personality is. And I don't think there's right or wrong. It's just how they are. So I think for those individuals, then maybe it's not the best idea to go lambskin, to go box. I still don't think so because I don't think there's a one size fits all. I think that is the reason why there are so many different textures and designs for everybody. So I totally agree with how Lou is looking at things and how she goes about her collection. But I also still think that there are individuals that will not be able to, because even for myself, it was a process to learn to love lambskin. And still, I will baby lambskin. I will still baby my lambskin, but not to the point where I don't enjoy it. It's just that I'm kind of in between where I still love my things to look very, very new and very well kept. But I do love the lambskin because it's so luxurious and it's such a different feeling when you hold it. But I think there is kind of like degree of different personalities and degree of comfort for everyone.
I also think that it's a process because at first I was very, very scared of a single thing happening to my bags. And when I got my first lambskin bag, it was my pink mini, and it's a mini square in light pink. I was really scared. And the first time that it got a scratch is because I fell. And I was walking in Rome and I tripped and I fell. And the bag had like this, it was not very noticeable. And the fact that I was able to just rub it up with my finger, I was like, oh, it's not that bad because I rub it up. You cannot see it
Exactly.
anymore. And there's been so many scratches that I've done to my bags, and all of them just have rubbed off. So I do believe that lambskin is not as delicate as everyone makes it look like, but you do need to like be a little bit more comfortable with time and having a little bit of experience owning it, so you're used to. I, for example, I don't have really long nails, so that's also something to note. Like if you have square and long nails, you will scratch the bag eventually, so that's something
Yeah.
that you need to know. If you have kids, maybe if it rains a lot where you live and stuff like that, there's a lot of factors to consider. And right now that I don't have kids where I live, it rains, but if it rains, I'm gonna take another bag. I just feel like I can try to enjoy the bags in that way. Maybe later, if I have kids, I'm gonna be a little more mindful. But right now, I don't really feel like that.
Yes, very true. I'm gonna pull this comment. We'll just go through a few more. From Joe, what's your ideal line of quota bags, style and size? You're so adorable. Love your videos.
Line up like a list.
I guess so, yeah. That's how I
Okay.
understood it.
Like the ones that I would like to get, or like the perfect collection of quota bags.
I think like perfect
think it
collection. So what's
yeah, I
your
think
ideal
perfect
lineup of all these bags? So I see 2 Birkins at the back, a Cully.
Yeah, there's my Kelly.
Yeah.
It's the only bag that I have left in my green classic flap, and this too. Like I have 6 bags here. The rest are there with Polo's parents. But if I would say like the perfect collection that you could get of quota bags, I would definitely get a big Birkin, because I have seen
Mm.
how people use it. I've seen how people really like it, and they use it as a really day-to-day bag. They put everything inside, your computer, makeup case, even as a travel bag. Then I would definitely get a baby Birkin, because I really love my 25s. I actually like the Kelly 28 a little bit more than the 25, because I don't find the Kelly to be very comfortable crossbody. And since it's already like a shoulder bag or top handle, the fact that the 28 fits so much is just a very practical bag, and it still looks really nice even if you're quite short as me. So I do like the way that this one looks, and I would add definitely a mini Kelly. I really like it. It's impossible to get, but I really like it. And perhaps Constance, even though I kind of like the release a little bit more, but the Constance, it's a beautiful bag, and I would get it in the 18 size because it's quite bulky for a crossbody bag. I think that's it.
Wow. Did you say a
That's my
Birkin?
dream combo too then.
What's the first one again? A big Birkin. You just
Big
said a big.
Birkin.
35.
How big? A
35.
40, 35. Oh
35.
wow.
No, 45. I don't even like they do 45.
40. I think the biggest is 40, and I think after that it's like a hack or something. Was that the hack?
I don't know. But
HAC? There's a
I would love
one.
HAC, yeah.
Wow.
Oakuhua.
35.
Oakuhua.
35 is like this big. I think like this big. It's heavy though.
It's like the size of the LV, the largest size of the LV
Speedy.
Speedy, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's
It's not that
that's
bad.
really nice.
But it's a
But that would
heavy
be
bag.
your travel bag, right?
Yeah.
Your
If I
errands.
get one, I would use it. Like I go almost everywhere with my computer, iPad, and agenda and stuff like that. And as much I adore my bags, but if I had something where I could just throw all of that inside and it was still a Birkin, I would really love that.
Yeah.
And I
makes
do
sense.
have a car. I will have a car in Barcelona, so it's not something that I'm gonna walk handhelding for hours and hours. So you have it and you can go anywhere and you just have everything inside. Also, it's gonna be a great travel bag with a lot of care. So I would probably put it inside a dust bag or something when you pass it through security, and be careful not putting it anything dirty under the plane. So probably dust bag again. But I think it's a great idea for a work, travel, and everyday bag. Maybe as a mommy bag too. You can fit everything inside.
That is such a flex. I'm having a mommy bag, which is a Birkin bag 35.
I see so many girls in New York with the Birkin 35 as their diaper bag. I couldn't believe it.
Oh my
Okay, I think
God.
I'll go with one more of the audience question before we go back to our list. From Vivi, I wonder which style and slash bags that you see yourself wearing in the next 10 years. So I think this is more general, not just Hermes.
Okay, so the way that I've been building my collection, I've always focused on this aspect. So people tend to tell me that I'm a little bit boring because I only go for classic flaps, Birkin Skellies, now the Lady Dior, and I almost never buy into trends. So I've never really bought anything from Prada or Bottega Veneta. And if I buy something that I don't see myself using in a couple of years, I try to sell it while the resale value is still really good. So I feel like I will probably always use my classic flaps and my Hermes bags. Like I don't see myself not using them. And I will probably rotate a little bit more towards bigger bags because right now I have a lot of small classic flaps. My Birkins and Kellys are 25s, and maybe later on I'm gonna need bigger bags. But I think that my collection is gonna stay pretty consistent, and I hope that 80% of the bags that I have right now is what I'm gonna use in 10, 15 years.
Mm. What is the trendiest bag that you've ever owned?
Probably the book tote.
Mm.
I think so.
And you don't, do you have it still?
Yeah, but it's not here.
Okay. Okay.
I have the small book tote in the Toile de Joie print, and I think that's the trendiest that I've ever. Maybe the bobby bag, but I feel like the bobby bag is quite a classic design, so I don't think that it's like too out there. And the book tote, maybe. Right now, I'm considering getting the Prada with the crystals, and that's
Mm.
what, like I don't know if I'm gonna go through with it, but I really really like it, and I want to try to be a little bit more like bolder with my handbag decisions because I already have like so many neutral colors in classics. So I don't know, maybe, but I'm quite boring with my bag decisions.
So Lou,
Boring
I
is
find
good,
it
you
really
know?
interesting that you are very brave with the material, like lambskin, box, and even the color white, but you're very classic driven in the style that you choose. You kind of very rarely veer off your classic handbags. And even when you were talking about, oh, maybe I'll add the crystal bag, you're still very conservative about it. Why do you think so? Why the distinction, do you think?
I don't know because I'm the same with my clothing. Like I've always dressed very simple. Like I love shirts and I love I don't like very very short clothing even though because I'm short if it's something like a really long pair of shorts it makes it look shorter so I try to
Mm.
balance it out but it's not that I'm conservative in the way that I dress at all. I don't see myself as conservative but I'm very basic in the way that I dress. I stick to the same brands, for example. And with my bags, I'm pretty much the same. If I like the classic flaps, I'm gonna stick to them. If I like the top hand design, like I would get the YSL Sac de Joc because it's quite similar in style. But yeah, I'm very much like that. I dress in a very specific way and I buy my bags like that and also my shoes. I never try crazy hairstyles. I never do like I don't even know how to do eyeshadow because I've never
Me
really
too.
tried crazy makeup wise. I don't know why I'm like this, but yeah.
It's
Oh,
very
it's really
interesting. You know, we have a
interesting.
yeah, we have a question that says that, you know, if you had to start over, what would you do differently? And I feel like you're gonna answer, I've been doing it all the way this way.
Maybe I would have gone sooner for the Chanel Classic Flop
Ah, okay.
because from the moment where I started to the moment that I bought it, there was a big price difference. And maybe I would have gone with lambskin before because I was straight into caviar from the beginning. But other than that, I do feel like I've been very consistent with my like collection. So I don't think that I would
Mhm.
do much different in that sense. And I would do different the Birkin situation, because I was offered a Birkin 30 once in London, but I didn't have the money to buy it. So there's nothing that I could have really done at that moment when I was offered the bag. But yeah, only maybe doing it a little bit sooner when the prices were not as high.
Lou, can you tell us what are your, if you had to choose, what are your favorite luxury pieces today? So maybe your favorite bag, your favorite jewelry, shoes, etc.
My favorite bag is definitely going to be my Birkin, the black one.
In 25. Mm-hmm.
I love that bag. My favorite pair of shoes right now are the Mac and Mac heels, the ones with the crystals. I really like it. And if it were to be sneakers, my Chanel sneakers, that they are super beat up. But I really like them because they're quite simple. They don't have any type of logos. They're just plain white, and they have the little like Chanel tab, and that's it. Jewelry, I don't know if I like better my love bracelet or my Van Cleef pieces, but I would probably go with my love bracelet because I always have it on, and sometimes I interchange this ones. And what am I missing? Shoes, jewelry, bags.
Anything that are your favorite.
Clothing wise, I'm really into Zimmerman lately and Totem. And I think that's it.
Are you eyeing anything new? Anything luxury? Actually,
Yeah.
which bags are you eyeing right now? Which?
The crystal. She said the crystal bag.
Yeah, I'm crystal bag. I do want another Kelly to go. I saw that this website has. I'm not gonna say which one because if someone buys it and I don't get to buy it, I'm gonna be the first one. But there's a Kelly to go in blue bloom, and I really want that color in my collection. I would love a Birkin 30. I've been eyeing a little bit to get the other Lady Dior, the yellow one. I think it's very, very pretty. But I would get it in my ABC size. And I think that's it. I don't think that I want to add anything else because I'm quite focused right now on getting furniture for the new apartment. It's going to be very expensive to furnish it from scratch. So I don't think that I'm going to buy many quite soon, but maybe during the year, what's the rest of the year, but not right now.
It's amazing.
Okay, now tell us, what is your biggest luxury regrets and why? If you have any, you may not have any. I don't know.
Do you have one? I bought a Coco handle. The back then it was like the medium size. Right now I think that they call it the small, but it was like
no, it's the large then.
It was
medium before. Yeah.
I bought it in chevron in electric blue. And with aged gold hardware. I had the bag for like 2-3 months and I hated it so much. I don't even know why I went with that color because I use denim sometimes and I felt like it didn't look good with denim. I don't have that color palette on my wardrobe, so it didn't match absolutely anything. And the color was so bright that I felt like you could see me miles away. So I didn't like that. It was so big. It was very uncomfortable crossbody. The handle would stick to my ribs all the time when I was opening the bag. So I sold it and I did lose money on that bag. So I don't even know why I bought it. Honestly, what went through my head when I was at the store, I have no idea.
That's the only regret you had? That's really good.
That's like nothing.
I mean, most of the bags that I bought, if I sold them, it was not because I didn't like them. It was because I had this in and one bag in, one bag out policy. But I've been quite conservative with my handbag purchases during the past couple of years. So I don't have many.
That's really good. I mean, it's a good mindset to just have like, this core collection that you have. And occasionally you kind of try something different, but you kind of really know what you want already. So let me pull this comment from Oksana. Hi, Oksana. Hello, ladies. Not a question, but an observation and comment for Lou. You're very mature for your age and a true inspiration for young women. That's so true. She's so mature. She's done everything that we've been doing for like years and years.
She knows what she wants.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, so can you tell us your most and least used bags and why? That you
Um,
still have, I guess. Maybe.
yeah,
Yeah, let's go with that.
my least used bag right now is going to be I have a Tiffany blue classic flop, and
Mm.
it's because of something that I've been talking about right now, but I'm not following that on this bag. That bag for me was like a crazy dream and achievement when I got it. It was so hard to find, and I don't know what I did, but I think that I bumped the bag onto something, and it's like one of the caviars is sort of peeling.
Oh,
So
okay.
after
Ooh.
that happened, I was like, what am I doing? I'm abusing the bag because I was using it almost every single day because I was obsessed with the bag. So I kind of put it on quarantine. And then I realized that for some reason, I'm storing the bag and I do have a pillow inside made for the bag. It has an organizer, and still it has like a little crease on the bottom of the bag, like because the weight of the bag is sitting on itself. And
Mm-hmm.
I've tried different ways to store the bag, and for some reason, out of my 8 classic flops that I have, I think that's the only one that's been working like that. So I think that it's cursed or something, and I'm trying to care for it the best that I can because I don't want it to have more wear and tear because I would never ever sell that bag, and I love it so much. But I kind of started fearing the bag a little bit, so I don't use it because of that. But white bags, white lambskin, I'm fine with that. That's what's crazy because the bag is caviar most of all. So yeah, it's a little bit bizarre. And my most used bag, lately, my most used bag, I think it's gonna be my Birkin 30, not my Birkin 25 in gold. I feel
Mm.
like I kind of sometimes if I have a bag that already has my stuff inside, I just keep grabbing it, and I don't feel the need to switch out of it because it's gold. So it kind of goes with every single outfit that I usually wear, and I really like the way that it looks with summer outfits, and it was also really good for winter outfits. So I think during the past 6 months is the bag that I've been using the most. Also because it's new, so I tend to be on the honeymoon phase with the bags when they're brand new. So maybe that.
Very good.
I'm gonna ask this question. I know it's not from, but from out of curiosity, because I see two bags there. So if you had to pick, which would be your favorite? Like if you had to pick between that gold and
I
that,
had to pick up the store, and it was really, really hard. I wanted
yeah,
to.
exactly. But now that you have them, because and this in the story, because it's a little bit like you haven't experienced it with your wardrobe, you haven't experienced it using it with your pictures and all. But now that you have them, which is
Mm.
your, which is the one that you seem to gravitate to more?
It's really hard because when I left the store with the black one, I kept thinking about that one, and I knew that I didn't know how, but I knew that I was going to get my hands on it. So having both, saying that I would go for one, it's because I know that I have the other one because I don't know. It's complicated to explain, but I tend to gravitate a little bit more towards the black one because I'm a very aesthetic person. In like I if the bag looks really cute when it's placed on a chair or with a specific outfit, or overall I just feel like it looks pretty all the time and it goes with absolutely everything because it's black, I would probably go with that one. But I definitely have days where I just look at this one and I feel like it's prettier than the black one. So it's really hard to choose, but I would probably go with the black one because for some reason I came out with this one from the store that first time and not with the gold. But yeah.
Good. She's like, Lou's advice is to just get both.
No, but I think I know what Lou means because I am often faced with that same dilemma. Not with Hermès, obviously, but like for example, even with Chanel, even when they had the caramel color and the black color, and we all know the caramel
Super hard to find.
is very rare and it's hard
Yeah.
to get. Most people would ask for that because it's a seasonal color too, right? So even though both were available to me to choose at the time, I would always just go with black anyway because I know deep down 90% of my outfits will go with the black. Sometimes
Exactly.
caramel will be nice and it's a nice change and it's not black again.
Mhm.
But I know in the end, it's like if I don't want to think about color coordinating because I already know the way I dress, no matter what, like most of my shoes too will match my black bag more. And that is not to say that
Yeah.
It looks good.
exactly. And that is not to say that caramel or gold is not great, because I also have a gold bag now. It's just that it's very specific. You have to think about your outfit, and you have to at least match something with it. At least for me, because that's how I dress. I dress more like with the blacks and with the anything that complements black more. So like red and black, denim and black, white and black. Like, you know how? That's how I dress, gray and black. But with gold, you have to be more dressing like beige a lot, browns a lot of earthy tone. And I don't dress like that. That's just not how I dress.
Yeah, that might be the thing. I do have a ton of beige, a ton of white. Basically, my wardrobe is the same as my bags: black, beige, white, brown, maybe some grays, and that's it. So it's easier for me to pair both bags in any scenario. But I do feel like if I ever want to go with a very colorful dress, a Zimmermann dress, this one goes with it. For a night out, I wouldn't use the gold one. I just feel like it's a little bit more for day, and the black one could be day and night. So it's a little bit more practical and easier to style with anything in any scenario.
Okay, I'm gonna ask this next question. If you could only keep 5 of your bags from your entire collection, which ones would they be? I know it's hard. Only 5.
I think they're all at the back.
That I would keep my 5 Hermes bags, but I probably wouldn't, because I would miss some of my Chanel's. So these 2 stay, so they stay. I would also add my my Kelly in the glee, this one. I just feel like it's a super unique color that I would never be able to find again. My black classic flap and my white classic flap, and that's it.
Wow.
If I wanted a tote, then I would go for like a supermarket one. I'm fine. But if I keep this ones, I would only keep them.
That's a really good lineup. So are you more a Birkin girl or a Kelly girl? That's not even in the list.
Birkin.
That's just me.
I'm 100% Birkin. I just like it more.
How come?
Oh, you find that you're gravitating more to your Birkin than your
for sure.
Kellys?
Yes.
Oh.
I don't know if it's just the way that I'm built, but the straps are always slipping off my shoulder when it's like not a crossbody bag and it's only a shoulder bag. And if you travel and it's winter and you have a coat on, the belly is always gonna keep slipping off. And crossbody is super uncomfortable. It's not a bag meant to be used crossbody. Even if I can, because I'm short, I still don't find it flattering, comfortable, and practical on how you open it and close it. The only instances that I really use my Kelly crossbody is if I'm gonna use a subway, I put it like crossbody and then I cover it with my coat, and that's it, or with something on top. Because I like to have my bags crossbody if I'm like in very crowded spaces. I don't like having it on my hand. But still, you need to open and close it to be able to put things inside. And I still find myself always wearing them handheld. So anyway, if it's the Birkin or the Kelly, I have them on my hand. And with the Birkin, it's like a small tote. You have it open all the time. So you just grab your things in and out. It fits more. And I really just like the way that the bag looks open, way more than the closure of the Kelly. So I just really like the look of it. And for me, it was always about the Birkin. Like the design of the bag. Like I know many people like to buy them because they are a Birkin and a Kelly. But for me, I've always looked for like other options of that same design because how much I like the way that it looked. So for me, it's the most beautiful design out there besides the classic flap. And the Kelly, it's gorgeous. I would give it like the 3rd place. I would be like Birkin, classic flap, and then Kelly design-wise. But I don't know. I just really, really like the way that the Birkin looks. I adore it.
Yeah. It's kind of bag that you either love or hate. I would even say that because people look at it and say, oh my gosh, grandma bag. But for me, I agree with you. I've always loved the look of the Birkin. It's I saw it. I was like, oh, that's a really nice bag. But I can also see the other perspective. It's actually quite boring.
Too.
It's too tough.
I'm used to people telling me that my choices are usually boring. But yeah, being told so many times that the Birkin and the Kelly look like grandma bags, also the classic flaps, and why don't I go and buy trendy things? And honestly, I just think that like in 50 years, I will probably have these bags and still use them. So, and probably will not be able to get them in that moment because they're going to be way more expensive than now.
Cost a
So
house.
yeah, exactly. So I don't know, I just feel like it, I like wearing them, I enjoy the way that they look and feel, so I think that's the only thing that counts. But I get the granny bag comments almost every single day.
Don't worry.
Aw.
Once you no, but maybe now, but once you like reach our age, it'll be like that's the most beautiful bag. No more granny bags.
Yeah.
You'll be in the category.
No, but I also agree that for me, I don't know what it is. Although I don't have either of them to have had an experience with yet, I just feel like I love looking at the Kelly, but I just know that the Birkin is gonna be so much more easy to use in my mind anyway, because I always think about, you know, how your classic flaps, you have to open it to reach in,
Yeah.
whereas any of the more open bags, like any of the bucket bags, basically, you literally just reach. You don't have to open certain things to reach. And it is very dependent on your lifestyle too. I know a lot of the Luxies here, maybe they take public transportation, maybe they live in Asia, which is very crowded, and you definitely want more security, so Birkins may not be ideal for them. So I get that, but I think from a point of view of my lifestyle, I guess, where I can drive, where I can easily reach in and out, I feel the Birkin for me is better, or I like it better. That's how I would put it.
I
But
agree with you a lot on the sense of when you're in crowded places and when you're gonna do public transportation. I really enjoy when I travel using the subway because one, it's faster, it's cheaper, but I'm always worried. So if I'm gonna use the subway, I probably try to not bring my Birkin with me. And if I do, I make sure that I'm not alone. Like maybe Paul is coming with me or more people, and you feel like a little bit more secure. I also think that many people might think that my bags are fake, which is completely fine. Um, but I would really love a mini Kelly because of that, because you can hide it very well and you could just have it on you. And I don't think that people can like grab it. So I
yeah.
do see why people prefer, and I prefer sometimes classic flaps because you can crossbody them and just go. But yeah, I sometimes do feel a little bit scared to wear my Birkin because it's just handheld and they can like grab it and run.
Yeah. So
Okay,
they
I'm gonna
both serve,
pull some
they both
questions.
have their
Okay,
places. Yeah.
let's pull
Okay.
this one. In whites, Lou, did you ask your essay if you could buy both the black and gold?
I didn't because I was not gonna be able to afford both bags. I was already crying and sweating and throwing up because of one of them. But my mother-in-law, I'm not married, but I call her my mother-in-law because we've been 7 years together. But she did want to buy it because she did really like it, and they said they didn't allow her. They also had a Kelly, and they didn't let her buy it. They said that the one that I didn't pick, it was gonna go to another client that was already like waiting for them to call. So it felt wrong to push much into it knowing that someone was waiting on that bag, and I already felt like so grateful that I was the first one that they gave the choice. So even if they called the other person, I would have been left with the one that they didn't choose. So I don't know, I just feel like so it was for someone else. So it's a lot of money, I didn't want to spend that much anyway, and they didn't even let my mother-in-law get it. So yeah.
Yeah. When I
Mm.
picked up my bags, um, actually the bags are allocated. So when I got my bag, I could actually see a sticker on the box with my name there.
Oh, me too.
So so it's already booked for you, right? So that's really amazing.
Yeah. I know that they kind of have to ask the manager, like the essays, if they get a bag in, they ask the manager if they can give it to their client. And then if the manager says yes, then they call you. But I think it's a very complicated process, honestly.
It is.
Okay, I'm going back to the more like towards the middle because I know we missed a few questions
I saw
there.
one from Chris, but I see
Yeah, I
one from
saw one from Chris, but this one first, from Annie. What was your first non-quota bag? I just got offered at Della Cavalleria. Congrats, girl. Did you
I
get a non-quota bag from your store actually? Did you? No,
Mhm.
I don't think I remember you getting.
I got a Picoton and the Kelly to go, but those I got them on the pre-love market, not really from my store. Because funny, they have really low stock on most things. I mean, on the waiting list for a Kelly pocket, the little card holder,
Mm-hmm.
they have not gotten any of them in any color that's not like a bright pink or a bright yellow in almost 2 years. They still don't get any blanket. So I don't understand what's the deal, but they don't have many bags in stock. And I was on the waiting list also for a Picotin in gold, but they only had them in the 22 size and I wanted 18. So for those bags, I feel like it's been easier for me to just go into the pre-love market a little bit than my actual store. Also because I don't even live in the same city, so I would have to fly there to pick the stuff out.
Okay. Yeah. That makes sense.
Interesting. Okay,
Yeah,
I see
see.
Clara's one. Hang on. Since
Okay.
we're talking about the Kelly, here we go. Clara Zila. So nice to see you, Lou. Love your channel. Would you consider the Constance to go instead of getting two Kelly to go? Constance to go is roomier.
Mm, I don't love the big H on the bag because I really like the fact that with my Kelly to go, a lot of people ask me what's the brand. They don't really know because if they don't really see the Kelly or the Birkin, they don't know that it's Hermes unless they have like the big H there. And I love the look of like I love this section of the bags. So for me, the Kelly to go is like having a mini Kelly, but not really. And I really enjoy using mine. I would get a Constance if it was like a very very beautiful color, hardware, and bag and leather. But I would prefer the release over the Constance because it doesn't have the big H. So I don't know why I don't really like it. I sold my H belt too, and I got the Kelly belt. I just like better the Kelly closure.
Mm.
I have a feeling it has more to do with your aesthetic. Like you said, you like more simple, classic things.
I think so.
Okay, so I see the question from Chris now. I don't know if you'll know the first part of that. Lou, how many bags do you have, and do you set a limit on how many you own?
Ooh.
I haven't counted them because it gives me
Yeah.
anxiety to think that many bags. But I think that we are shamed so much that once you like think about it and maybe like you sum the money, it feels very overwhelming. So I've tried to not count them. I have an idea that I think that I have around 28, maybe 30 bags. And just to think that I have like a bag per month gives me chills. So I've always been like in the process of giving myself the space to feel like it's okay. I bought them, I worked for them, and I'm allowed to own them. But at the same time, I just sometimes look at them and I'm like, what have I done? Like, I'm crazy, especially when I'm traveling, because when I'm traveling, I tend to be very like low key and I have my Fendi remover. And if people stare, I think that people feel like I'm crazy for spending like this amount of money. So I just don't like counting. But at the same time, I would never set a limit because I do the one in, one out. Like I just recently sold my caramel 19 bag. I felt really bad about it, but I need to let one bag go. And that was the only one that I was not going to be like, I don't have something else because I have the classic flap. So, and the girl that bought it, she really, really wanted it. So it made her really happy to buy it. But I don't know. Would I have a limit? Maybe when they don't fit where I live and I would start selling them. But I don't think that handbag collection will ever get like in a super crazy like 100 bags or something. I don't think so.
And I had a question in my Q&A, and I filmed it yesterday. I just haven't edited it. But there was a question, which is a really good question, asked me, have you ever made an addition to all the bags you have ever bought?
No, don't
And
do it.
when I read that question, I thought, I think in my lifetime, I have bought 100 bags. Bought and sold, bought and sold. But if I counted everything, yeah,
Probably more.
I think I
Don't
would not
count.
be very. I would have a meltdown. So I remember answering this question. I said that probably a lot, but I don't count how much food I eat. So
You know,
I
the
just
way that I
enjoy
see
it.
it, if you sell them, the money's still here. Like you didn't throw it away.
Justifying it, girl.
You kind of still have it here if you buy smart enough that it's a bag that like keeps the resale value. So that's the way that I like tell myself to be okay with it, because if I want, I can sell them and it's gonna be fine if I need the money. So it's not like throwing it away, but yeah, counting it does give me the creeps, and I try not to do that.
No, don't need. Enjoyed it. You consider that cost as rental, and you're just like, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but I think that when we get these questions from a real subscriber, they are genuinely just curious, and
Yeah.
they ask probably just because they really are
A good
curious,
question.
and there's
Fun.
no there's no what's the word I want to use? Negative connotation. They're just curious. They
no.
just are nosy a little bit maybe. But I think it's when you get the types of comments that ask or say anything related to, oh, why are you spending all your money on da 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 da?
The other way around. True.
Yeah, that's when it makes you, because already I think we're all very responsible individuals. We know what we're doing. We obviously love our luxury and we treat ourselves and we're managing it. But just because we're only showing one part of our sharing into the world and it's public, there's going to be all kinds of crazies making these judgments, and then kind of like, you know, I don't know if they're having a bad day. I'm not sure what it is, but
It's usually guys.
Yeah. So they would maybe just make these comments just to either hate on you, or maybe they're just, you know, they don't see how that can be possible. And so
I also
that's
have
when
this, I have
Go
a guy that always comments on my videos like, if you sum what you spent on bags, you could have a Range Rover. And I'm like,
Yeah.
great.
I could buy a house in cash.
I could buy a house. I could buy what, but it doesn't make me happy. And the car would lose the value the moment that you run out of the car store. But my bags are not going to lose the value. It's going up. They always ask, "Where's the husband? Is your dad buying them for you?" It always has to be a guy behind you buying them. And I don't know if I don't know. It's really annoying for me, because every single girl on this platform gets invalidated by the way that they get their bags. Even if their husband is buying them for them, who cares? Why do you
Exactly.
care so much where the money comes from? I never have understood this, and I think that the luxury community is supposed to be like sharing the love for bags, and people always kind of want to know. And I think that it's okay; they're allowed to want to know, but don't invalidate women all the time. Like, we can do it.
Totally.
True.
Yeah.
Well
And
done.
it has nothing to do with anybody else. It's none of their business.
Yeah.
You don't want to talk about the prices because it's a lot. It's like just you just enjoy it. Yeah, just enjoy it. But it was a question that I was like, ooh, yeah, huh? And I flipped this little book that I have. I'm still writing of every single bag that I've bought all my life. I sat down one day and I said, let's think back to the day I've started buying bags. And I wrote down every single, it was like pages of handbags. It doesn't matter if it's sold, just pages of handbags. I was like, that's a lot. Let's not even look at it.
I can't believe you even did that.
I know. I have it here somewhere. Let me look at
Who are you, Kat? Who are you?
It's here. Little pages of like, look at that, Lou, do you still write?
I do.
Oh my god.
Oh, is it on your like iPad? Oh.
No, I actually love writing down on paper. I don't like taking notes on iPad, actually.
It's right. It's such a nice feeling. Look at that.
Yeah, reading on books instead of the Kindle, I prefer it 100%.
Yeah, that's probably why I don't read. I don't. I can't read on a Kindle, but I also hate having all these books. And because I moved so many times, and my latest move, well, it's not my latest, but 10 years ago, I moved across country, so I got rid of a lot of things, and things like textbooks and books and papers and even printed papers of textbooks. I had to donate them or recycle them, and I just decided I'm not buying any more books. That's why I don't read anymore, because I don't like reading on Kindle either.
I'm having to get rid of all my books, and I have so many like limited editions of the books that I really, really love. And they're so big and so heavy that I can really not take them with me.
Yeah.
So I need to give them away to friends. And
Yeah.
it's really painful because they're limited, like they're really nice covers of my favorite books, and I just cannot take them.
But just think about whether you will even look at them again. Because if you won't, then it is a waste to even store them somewhere, right?
Yeah.
But if you are gonna look at them again and maybe pass them on again, then maybe it is worth looking into external storages. That's
Yeah, I think I've already read them, and I'll buy new books there when I move.
Yeah, just Mary Kondo it. Thank you.
Mary Kondo. Yeah, now I'm better at it now. Like you reach a stage where everything just goes, like not throw.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask this question to you, Lou, because you're so busy. Like you have such a full life. You've got your studies. You've got your.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
Oh, okay, but okay. So you got your studies. You got your sailing. You've got your, your YouTube, etc. Right. So what's like a day for you? Like what's a day when you wake up? Is it packed?
Before I left my job, it was very different than where it is now, because I would wake up very early, and by the end of the degree, the classes are at night because many of us actually work. And when you work from 8 a.m., sometimes even 7, depends on the day, and you leave the office at 3, 4, depends on the day. So the classes usually start at 4. So I would, at the end of this, would go physically to the office, and I freaking hated it. And then I would come back, eat really quick, and then I would have homeschool from 6 to 10. And then at some point, I had to go physically to college too, and everything was in person, and it was the last 3 months, and it was really, really bad. So I would finish that, and then I would run to school and stay there until 10 p.m. So I would be drained. So many people ask me for vlogs, and I'm like, cannot give it to you right now, because I honestly, the only thing that I do is be on the computer, study, and homework. I would have to do it over the weekends and my YouTube too. But now that I've graduated and I don't have work anymore, it's way easier for me, because I wake up, I exercise a little bit. I love doing Pilates or sometimes running. And then I have breakfast, take my dog out, I read a little bit, and then I start editing videos or planning them. If I have some pictures that I want to take, and then I take the space to take the pictures, I answer to emails. Sometimes I do a little bit of catching up with something that I've left from the move, because moving, it's been a lot of paperwork. So I need to get some of Polo's paperwork, my dog's paperwork. So it's been like a learning process lately on how to balance my time now that I actually have free time, because I didn't used to have much. And I feel weird, because when I'm resting and when I don't have anything to do, I feel so bad and guilty, like if I should have something to do. So something that I've been doing that it's not really healthy is I don't know when to stop editing my videos or answering to comments or planning the next video. So I'm nonstop working on my YouTube channel, and definitely that's not healthy. I need to learn a little bit on just turning my phone off, watching TV, or going out. But yeah, I'm learning a little bit.
That's incredible. Because it's still a very full day. I mean, even though you're saying, okay, I'll have breakfast, but those are like maybe like the, I don't know, half an hour, 1 hour of the day, then you walk it out. But the rest of the day, you're actually doing something, right? You're editing your video.
That social media is not a lot of work. It is
It's a lot of work.
More than 9 to 5, way more than that.
It is. It is.
It definitely is, because you're always at the back of your mind thinking about, even if you're not working on answering the comments from the current video, or sometimes it's from past videos too, right? Comments come in from all the different videos. Even if you're not doing that, you're always thinking about your next content. What are you gonna do? And you can't just think.
It's so hard.
Yeah, but you're doing a great job.
I try. I've been trying to watch more YouTube lately to get like inspiration, and I watch both of you a lot. I also love watching Cassie, and I think that it's a little bit easier for me right now that I have time to watch everyone else's videos and what everyone else is doing in the luxury community, to kind of know, okay, I can do a video about this, I can do a video about that. And before that, I was like, whatever just popped into my mind, I would film that and just get it over with. So I think that it's going to be a little bit easier now to come up with video ideas and not be super repetitive with my content.
Actually, this is my own question. I'm curious about something, because you mentioned that you love sailing. Do you actually do that professionally before? Like, are you like, do you compete and things like that?
Wow.
I started sailing professionally at 12. Before that, I was like only training and competing like locally, but then I started it's a little sailboat that is called Optimist, and there I started to go to the national championships. Then I switched to laser at 15 years old. You switch to laser, and then I was it was really hard for me because I was still at high school, and I was not able to work full time. So something that I would do is I was giving sailing lessons, and sometimes, I don't know, giving English classes to a friend of my parents' kid or something like that, to make like extra money, because sailing is a very, very expensive sport, and most of the things I had to pay them myself. So going to a competition, because I did qualify to 4 world championships, and going to those was so expensive. And at some point I reached the limit, because I wanted to go to the Olympics, but I was very short. Sailing, specifically laser, you need to be tall and heavy, and if I were to get heavy, I was going to be very bulky, and I was not going to be like even comfortable moving around the boat, and there was no way that I was going to get taller. So I was really just running something that was not viable, so I had to change boats. But it was really hard for me because I really wanted to go to the Olympics. So at some point I broke down, and it was a very, very expensive thing to support with high school. And then with college, my first time in college, I was 90% of my time sailing, and I would miss a lot of classes, I would miss a lot of exams. So I was missing on the college experience, I was missing every single holiday, every single weekend training and stuff like that. So I imploded in some way, and I decided like I only want to sail for fun, I don't want to compete anymore. And that's when I also quit college. I quit sailing and I just started working. And I really loved making my own money and traveling a lot. Like all of the things that I missed being so focused since I was so young into sports, I started to venture in that year, fashion included. And it was like a big like change in my life. And I think that it was for the best. I really enjoy and love sailing, and it's always going to be part of my life. But I don't think that I would ever compete again professionally, because it's very draining.
Wow, I just want to commend you, because I have friends who sail and they were just learning at that point, and I just would hear things, right? Like, oh, I have to buy this, have to buy that, have to do this, have to do that. And obviously they have to practice. And you don't just go anytime. You also have to look at the current or whatever. Like you have to go when it's a nice weather, and it's a lot of work and dedication. And I think it shows through. I don't think that, I mean, obviously you can't change what you can't change, such as your height and things like that, and um, giving up on doing the Olympics, because that sounds crazy to me. That's really professional level. But I think the fact that you did all these things, that you're still meant to do these things, and that really shows through your resilience and your work ethics and your own sort of dedication to whatever you do in life. I feel like that shows through your personality now that we've gotten to know you a bit more through the last hour and a half. I think
we
that's
will
why you
definitely be
sound
seeing
so
a hotel in
mature.
a few years. We'll definitely be seeing a hotel, Lou's hotel
Yes.
or something. Have you
I
found
am
a
very
name?
no, not yet. I don't know. It's gonna be like in the long run, but quitting was not really that easy because your whole life revolves on it. Like my entire family sailed. My parents met sailing. I met my boyfriend sailing. All my friends were sailors. So living it was like really stepping out of my entire life. And I still feel really weird. But I think that there's a part in life where you need to know when to quit. And even if doing it is very hard, I think that it's healthy. I remember my last competition. They were the midwinters in, I think they were in LA. And I was just almost crying because I was not performing well, and the stress and just thinking about how much it was for me to spend on that trip. And some of my family members were helping me out, like paying some of the like regatta fees and like renting a boat there and the coach and everything. I just figured that it was like the best for me, and I think that it was a very healthy decision. And I think that I would apply the same even for my YouTube channel. If at some point it stops being something healthy and that makes me happy, I would be able to walk out of it too. But I don't know if I would say that it gave me any type of matureness, if that's why you say it. I think that I missed a lot of the things that teens do. So I never really partied. I never really got a lot of time to do nothing. So I was always kind of like doing something, and that's what drives me now because I'm used to it. So maybe that's it. I don't know.
I think I can tell you that that's probably the reason why you're very focused and mature, because I know a lot of kids that did a lot of nothing, and I never could understand how you could do a lot of nothing. I was always busy as well when I grew up. Like basically I had to grow up faster.
Yeah.
And you know, I think now my age is catching up to my maturity, but before people just didn't get it. Like, oh, you're already working at 14 or things like that. And I was working full time too. Like during the summer, it was full time and
There
just
was a lot of friends because of that. That's also why I don't have many friends. They always want to party or travel very like sporadically, and I never can because I'm working. And I,
mm,
even if I don't really loved my job so much, I was very driven in the goals that I had set. So I didn't like to party on the weekends because on the weekends I was filming my videos. So I was just never there and never went out much. So I do think that it was a very good reason why I never got to get many friends, because no one really understands unless they are on similar situations.
Yeah.
you're doing a great job, trust me.
Thank you.
Okay, I see this comment from KM. So more about Hermès again.
Perfect.
Lou, what colors of Hermès bags would you like to add to your collection? I guess what
I
other colors?
would love vert cricket, like the beautiful
Mm.
green. I love the blue bloom. I think that it's a stunning color, and I do plan to get a bag in that color at some point. I don't know how this is pronounced, but craye or cray, that it's like this milky white. I really like it.
Great. Great.
And I like a lot of baby yellow colors. I don't remember the specific one that I like the most, but I would love an Epsom bag in light yellow. I think that looks very, very pretty. And I think that's it. I do like some colors that are not like in production right now, like biscuit and trench. I do like chai, but it's too similar to this one. And
Mm,
maybe a taupe and a tan.
nice. Okay.
Nice.
I think this question is similar to what we asked you already, although we asked only 5 bags earlier. So you could only keep 3 Hermes, 3 Chanel. Oh no, wait. Lou, if you're allowed to keep only 3 bags among your Hermes and Chanel. Oh, only 3. Okay, only 3.
Okay, so we need to narrow it down from the 5 that we chose before.
Yes.
Okay, the 2 Birkins and a classic flap. I would go for the white one because
I was thinking you were gonna say the white one. I was like, she's gonna say
You have
white. She's gonna say
black.
white.
black, brown, and then you have white, and it's like a nice roundup.
Nice.
Nice. You know, I was watching LV Lover CC's vlog
I love her
I
pulse. She always has
yeah,
so many bags.
like a couple of days ago, I think, and she was selling. She sold her white jumbo to a subscriber in that video, in that vlog. And when the subscriber took out the bag, I was like, how to say, my breath was taken away. I was like, oh, that is a beautiful white jumbo. And it didn't look big on her, because I mean, I've sold my jumbo in black, but I just had a moment of like, oh my gosh, that is a gorgeous white jumbo. It was snow white. It's so beautiful. I can't
You want to buy a white bag?
I want to buy a white bag.
Let's all go buy a white bag now. All the luxury.
Inspired by Lou
Yes,
with her 5 white bags.
I like them.
You so let me recap. So you have a white you have a white classic flap.
Yeah,
You've got a white Dior.
Mm-hmm.
You have
I
5,
have,
right? So what else is white?
Tweed classic. No, a tweed 19 bag.
Okay.
A white bobby bag from Dior.
Oh yes, you have the white bobby bag, and then you've got a Picotan,
Nata.
is it? Okay. So obviously, then it does. I was gonna ask you if you had to pick one, which would you pick? It's gonna be the classic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Second bag.
The tweed 19 bag. That tweed is so pretty. Then I would go for the Lady Dior, probably.
Oh, 1, 2, 3, and then the last 2 is the Picotan and Bobby. So Bobby's at the bottom.
Probably, yeah. I just really like it, but all of them, I really, really love them. So I would recommend anyone any of those bags. But if you need to rate them, I would rate them like that.
I love the idea of a white bag, trust me, because that's why I keep buying gray bags, because they're the closest to white. But I guess I was already.
We all need a white bag. We all need a white bag, okay?
No,
we all
I
need
don't
a white
have a
bag. So everybody who's
I don't have
watching
a
this
gray
live,
white.
we all gonna get a white bag, okay?
Which one? Which one are you gonna
I
get?
don't know. Just a white bag. Live life, okay?
I would start with a mini bag, maybe.
A mini, you know what? A mini Kelly in like a Nata or like any family of that white. I would do it. I would do it in a mini bag.
Kelly.
Yeah.
What would be your mini Kelly dream color? Is it white?
I still have been debating if I was ever, I don't think so, but if I was ever offered special order, I don't know if I would mix the colors or not. Because you feel like you kind of have to because they're offering it. But at the same time, I don't know if I would love it for a long period of time, or if I would get sick of the combination.
Mhm.
But I would probably go for Cray in the Mini Kelly, another white bag.
Yeah, that one's gonna knock the Chanel off the top.
Yes.
Oh darn! Actually, I had one question that I skipped from my list. Besides Chanel and Hermes, what other brands are you into? So obviously you're kind of into Dior as well, but aside from those three, are you at all into any other brands? Like really into?
I love Louis Vuitton. My
Okay.
issue with it is that I almost never like their new releases. Like they're always too colorful, too out there, and I wish that they would come up with more classic pieces that would fit into my wardrobe and the type of bags that I buy. Because Louis Vuitton was my first love in the luxury world, and after a while I just feel like they were pushing colors and big logos out there, and
Yep.
that's when I started to fall out of love with it. But from time to time I still want an Alma Bibi, for example, or more of the vintage bags. I really like vintage Louis Vuitton pieces, so I do love Louis Vuitton. I just don't like the new things that they put out lately. I love Celine. I really like Celine. I would probably buy more now. I used to be like on this rush to buy Chanel because of the price increases. So if I saved money, I would always give priority to a classic flat because I knew that there was gonna be a price increase. And right now, I think that I have reached the point where I don't think that it's worth buying them as they used to. I'm not gonna say never. I will probably buy another classic flap later, but I would rather buy something else right now when it used to be for me like classic flap or nothing. And
Mhm.
my setting was like my next color on my list, and now it's not like that. So I will probably focus more on Celine, um, Prada. Probably I do like Prada, but yeah, I think that's it. I don't like very logo design, so many brands focus a little bit on that, like Fendi. So I don't know, maybe a Peekaboo, but I don't know.
What's one brand that you would not buy?
Balenciaga. I just don't think that
How come?
How come? Yeah, it's too trendy. It's too out there.
it's too trendy, too, I don't know how to explain it, but too New York style, in my opinion. Like all the bags,
Mm.
like things that I would see on someone very, very edgy, very confident with what they wear. And I just don't see myself wearing any of it. The clothing and the shoes are another thing, but the bags, I don't see anything specifically wrong with them, but I've never once been tempted to buy a Balenciaga bag. For other brands, yes, Prada, I love the Cahiers bag, I love right now the crystal bags. Even Versace, I have some options that I would buy, but from Balenciaga, I've never had a single one that I've been like, oh, I want that bag. So
What
probably,
about the something that I think could I'm just saying could work with your aesthetic that's not so out there is the hourglass handbag. You know, the one with the
yeah. I I thought about it when they released the crystal bag version because I was like, it's a top handle bag and it's really pretty.
Mm.
But I still, if I were to go that route, I think I would prefer to go for a trendy CC or
Mm.
I don't know. I just keep going back to other brands when I compare it to certain brands too. So I don't know. I think that I will probably never, but if they come up with something classic enough, like Celine, I love the Triumph and the box, the classic box one. So I would buy those. And before I was like, oh, I don't like anything specific. So I don't know, maybe.
Mm.
How about Gucci?
I used to love Gucci and I loved the Marmont collection. But then they started releasing again different colors and crazy things. I don't know what happened to Gucci. Like I just went down really, really
I
fast.
know.
It's,
Don't buy Gucci.
but I feel like the Dionysius bag. I really like it. I think that is very pretty.
The thing about Gucci, and I always say, is that they don't keep their items long enough for it to become a classic. the next thing you know, within 2-3 seasons, it's gone and they moved on to the next. But
Yes.
it could be their brand strategy where it's about always having something fresh and new, unlike LV, Chanel, and Hermes, where they try to have a classic piece. Marmont was the closest, but look at what they've done to the Marmont now. It didn't last long enough, and I think it's
It was such a
yeah,
beautiful bag. I loved it. It was, I mean, Gucci has really good quality with their leather. I really liked the bag. It was very comfortable, but it definitely, they first of all overdid it, I think. They didn't manage to just make it a classic, and then they just forgot about it, and
yeah.
everyone.
Yeah, they moved on. They just
And
decided that okay, not worth my time. Moved on. But people who bought it thinking that it's a classic, it could be the classic bag of Gucci. They're like, oh no, now we're. I mean, it's not oh no, but it's sort of like Gucci has abandoned the Marmont in a way. I
Yeah.
feel, they didn't have that tenacity to just keep going with the brand and make it like the solid, keep making it better. So yeah,
I
that's
think
my
that they make it feel a little bit like fast fashion, and I don't like that because
yeah.
the bag is $3,000, and they just it's not the eat bag anymore, and I just don't like that sense of it because it's so much money and it's clearly a classic design. Why
Mhm.
would they just like ditch it like that? I think it was one of their biggest mistakes lately to just ditch the Marmont instead of doing something with it like a little bit more. I don't know.
Yeah. Yep. They just left it. Yeah. So yeah, Gucci is one of those brands, huh? I mean, they have their aesthetic, right? They have their crowd. It's the different luxury, like you said, luxury fast fashion. It definitely feels like it. Every s- in fact, even LV does it, but LV
Elvis
at least.
becoming fast fashion too. They
Oh,
are it's too much in very little time.
yes, it's a lot. After a while, you're like, even for us, I think is it next week, Amy, that
It's
we're
next
having that.
week.
Yeah, we have a live because we haven't done LV for a long time. It's just because
Mhm.
we well, of course we're Hermes, but it's just that it's every season is just so much of things. So once in a while it's nice to do a live on LV just to see what's new. And I'm excited because I haven't seen anything, but I just have a feeling it's
It's always colors
it's
and big.
colors, it's weird designs, it's big logos, it's maybe tie-dye.
It's always the same thing, just like a little bit different.
We have this last question, and it's kind of related to what we're talking about. So, how do you feel about Delvaux? Because all these other brands we just mentioned, they like Balenciaga, LV, they're a bit too fast fashion. Delvaux, definitely not as much. But how do you feel about it then? We by the way, just for the record, Sage wise, we did have a whole luxury live show dedicated to Delvaux. Between Kat and I, we did a whole like history. We talked about the creative direction and then the few bags that we like. So definitely go back and watch that. It's on my channel. So just go back to the playlist of the luxury live show. You'll find it, or you could just look it up on YouTube. But Lou, what do you know this brand, Lou?
I didn't know it for a long time. I know the brand. I don't know much about it, but I
Mm,
know like the what the question is about is more like brands that are not the big house names that we all
Mhm.
buy. And I did have a little bit of a taste of how other brands work. In Milan, I went to this factory where they would make these designer bags, and they were exact same quality as Dior, as Chanel, as Hermes. They would use the same leather, but they were not mainstream brands per se. So I actually really like that, and I feel like the fact that we don't know much about them, if we would know more, I think we would buy them more. But it's really hard to know them, especially like me being in Mexico. Like a lot of people only mainly use Gucci and Louis Vuitton. We don't have many Chanel boutiques. We don't have many Hermes Chanel boutiques. We don't have many Hermes boutiques. And when you go other places, you see the bags and you're like, oh, that's so pretty, but you have no idea where it is from. And I love that. I love that there are small brands that make excellent quality, maybe even similar prices, not that much, but similar. And it's still a great bag. I don't feel like you always need to go for the big brands to have a bag that you love. I don't think that it's necessary.
True.
Yeah, same in Canada. We don't have a lot of the luxury stores. I mean, we have in the biggest cities, there will be at least one of each. So there's one Hermès, one Chanel. But it's not like you will find a Delvaux store here, and you won't
Yo,
find a Forêt Lepage store here or a Goya store here. They just don't. They just don't do it in Canada. We're not big enough of a population and of a market for these brands to come here and open stores. So a lot of times, although I hear about these brands, and sometimes you will see them at department stores, such as Delvaux, they have them like a few. They have a few. Actually, I was corrected during the live that we have. I feel like there was a few, but apparently there was more. That there's a section at Nordstrom, and I was invited to go anytime. But anyway, but it's just that me passing by and just sort of like glancing and just know that it's there, but there's no big store here, and I don't see very many people have these bags even,
or
if
talk
at
about
all, if at all, like if I even see
Mm.
them at all most of the time. So it's hard for me to judge. I think you just have to be able to try them. If you have a store in your local area, I think you should just go try them and then watch our previous luxury live show where we sort of went deeper into the brand, because I feel like a lot of times when you know more about the history and how they got started and why
yeah,
they
I
did
have
this,
no
why they did that.
well. So yeah, I think like the bag has a very pretty design, has good quality, and you're able to try it on because yes, buying online something. Well, I don't even think that we can buy online from Mexico to many of the stores, but yeah, I hope that once I move to Barcelona, I get to find more brands that are not necessarily the ones that I usually stick to. And same for clothing brands, like all of that. I think that branching out is always interesting. And I feel like many people just want to stick with the big brands, but some others, they just don't even know that the others exist because they also try to keep them small. Like it's part of the aesthetic and the whole vibe of the brand to not be mainstream. And that's also really nice. So I think it's a matter of balancing it out. And if you like it, the design and the color and the quality, that's perfect.
Mm. So Lou, I think almost at the 2 hour mark, but I'm gonna ask this question. So now that everything is, I guess, kind of opening, are you planning to travel a bit more?
I hope so, but right now it's gonna be complicated because right now during the summer we're gonna stay at my in-laws house for like a month while we take the paperwork and we start shipping boxes to Barcelona. And I think that once we get to Barcelona, we will have to stay there unless something comes up to find an apartment, rent the apartment, then furnish it. I will have to get back to filming videos and filming content. But I don't know if like a short trip to Paris comes up or London, I would be definitely open to do that. But I think that right now I'm gonna be very focused on moving, so I don't think so. Unless it happens. So I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I
Well, you
actually
can always come to Singapore if travel to Asia. You have all these stores.
I would love to go
Just
to
like
Asia.
down, take a bus.
are you actually moving permanently to Arizona?
Arizona? No, Barcelona.
Barcelona.
Oh, I heard Arizona. Barcelona, nice.
Oh, I love
Oh, that's a
Barcelona.
nice
It's
area.
such
I've
a
been to once.
beautiful city, and it's like, oh, I
Beachfront.
loved it.
It's perfect.
Oh. Well, thank you so much, Lou, for taking the time to join us. I know it's a very long live stream, but
It's
I think I speak for all the Luxies because you didn't know, but like the Luxies have been requesting, because we asked, they've been requesting you, and we finally got you. So thank you so much for coming. I really enjoyed getting
happy
to
to
know
be back.
you.
Yeah.
I
Thank
would
you so
love to have you back. That's for sure. And feel free
much.
anytime you have free time, because we know you're very busy. You keep busy.
I'm gonna have more time now.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's great.
Good luck with your move. And Luxies, if you are not already subscribed to Lou, well, please subscribe to Lou. Her channel is already linked in the description box. And yeah, our July calendar is already up on both Kat and my community posts. So just check it out. Next week, we'll see you back on Kat's channel. And yeah, have a good weekend and happy Canada Day if you're in Canada. So yeah, we'll see you again very soon. And thank you again, Lou. Really
thanks
giving
for
your time.
inviting
We'll
me.
see you again. We'll see you again, and maybe we'll see you. In the next location will be Barcelona already.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you like a small tour or something, but yeah, for
All
sure,
right,
I'm gonna be there.
Nice.
Nice.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Well,
Bye,
thank
everyone.
you. And yeah, we'll talk to you next week, guys.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.